Welcome to Tone Talks. Welcome to Tone Talks. Welcome to Tone Talks. What up, y'all? This is Attorney Antonio Moore coming to you from Tone Talks, here to have a discussion about artificial intelligence and ask some questions of you, the audience. And that question or set of questions surrounding you, your children, what is the plan going forward? Do you understand artificial intelligence? Have you been following the laws that are being set around you? Do you understand the consequences of what might happen? And I framed it around this question: will Trump let AI take all the jobs? And that's for all of us to kind of talk about today. Let's get right into it. So AI, when I say AI, I'm talking about artificial intelligence. How many people in the chat have used ChatGPT to edit, to find, to do any services? If you have not, you need to try it out just to see what's going on in this world, because the world is changing really, really fast. I think there have been major shifts in the last 5 to 10 years that may shut out a large chunk of America from opportunity. You have sports gambling. You have the gig jobs that came out of Barack Obama 2008. I've said before, he's sworn in. A month later, we have Uber, a month and a half. And then his labor secretary did nothing to push back against misclassifying jobs. Well, now you have this rise of artificial intelligence, and there are statements that it might wipe out half of some job sectors, if not more. Are you aware of that? Will Donald Trump let AI companies run wild? So what they're asking about is regulation. Are these companies going to be regulated? Are you aware that they're not talking correctly about regulating it? If you thought Biden was bad, Trump is Biden on steroids about not regulating these things. Artificial intelligence was not a primary focus of the U.S. presidential campaign for either Trump or Harris. And AI-generated disinformation did not disrupt presidential elections proceedings like many experts fear. Still, with Republicans looking set for a clean sweep of the White House in both chambers of Congress, the election results have major implications for the future of AI. Simply put, Republican control of government augurs, at least for the next 2 years before the midterm elections in 2026, AI companies may be able to run wild without fear of significant regulatory intervention. So, do we understand the consequence and the impact on our lives and our ability to provide for ourselves, our children, our families, our communities, if AI runs wild? I want to talk today. The phone lines are set up. We're prepared to have this discussion because I want to hear, particularly from those people that are parents, what is your plan with AI? I mean, I really want to hear what's your plan with AI, gig jobs, gambling, sports gambling. How are you raising and how are you transitioning children? But let's focus in on artificial intelligence. Are you aware of it? Are you talking to your children about it? How is that affecting their own ability to evaluate potential future opportunities? 310-388-3499. If you want to speak on this, I'm coming in midday, so I know a lot of you are at work, but hopefully we can get a few callers in here to talk about this thing. Days are numbered for Biden's executive order. I guess he passed the executive order, and the days are numbered. Let me frame this by giving you a brief video. We're going to play about 2.5 minutes, and I'll come right back.
Posted on Axios.com moments ago, taking a critical look at the future of artificial intelligence. It's a pretty incredible piece. It's entitled Behind the Curtain, a white-collar bloodbath. That could be the result of AI.
Well, yeah, and you know, Jim, people that run AI companies don't want to talk about it. They want to pretend it's not going to happen. Silicon Valley wants to pretend it's not going to happen. Wall Street doesn't really want to talk about it. But the fact is, as you report, just like the technological revolution, the IT revolution gutted blue-collar workers throughout the 90s and beyond, you're now talking about a bloodbath for white-collar workers because of AI. And from what you've seen and what you're reporting on, it is going to be a bloodbath for workers.
I mean, that is certainly the warning of Dario Amodei, who is the CEO of Anthropic. And just for your viewers, Anthropic is one of the top creators of this AI, these large language models in the world. So he has better visibility than probably all but 2 or 3 people in the world into the power of this technology. He'd been telling us in private for a while that this bloodbath could be coming, but that lawmakers don't want to talk about it. The federal government doesn't want to talk about it. AI companies don't want to spook people. We finally convinced him to go on the record. And his point is, like, listen, just play with this technology, not just casually. Like, once you really dive into it, you realize it can do the work already of researchers, of analysts, of a whole host of entry-level white-collar jobs. And he put it in the starkest of terms. He said, like, based on their early analysis, over a 5-year period, it could wipe out half of white-collar entry-level jobs. Unemployment could spike to 10 to 20% in the next.
He said that unemployment could spike 10 to 20% and that it could wipe out half of white-collar jobs. In the chat, how many people knew that this is the context and the number of how it could impact a whole sector of opportunity? In the chat, do you understand the importance of the moment and regulation, and what are you doing to talk about that with your family, with your friends, and with your community? I don't think everybody is grasping the context of the moment because you're playing around. You got these 18-year-olds, these 13-year-olds, these 23-year-olds. And there is a horizon in a world where AI could wipe out half of all entry-level white-collar jobs and spike unemployment to 10 to 20%. Now, a lot of the AI CEOs are not talking about it. They got one on the record, the owner of Axios, and they already know, they're just not telling you. The point of this show is to make sure that you know and to tell you so you don't make no excuse that you didn't know later on. And once you know that, I want to know, what's your plan? If you're bold enough to call in and tell us, 310-388-3499. Now, I understand if you're at work and this is a little heavy, but the 15-year-old is real in your house, as is the 18-year-old and the 23-year-old that already can't get a job and is driving them gig cars because you let Obama bring that into our local governments, our state level governments, our national government. Dario Amodei, CEO of Anthropic, one of the world's most powerful creators of AI, has a blunt, scary warning for the U.S. government and all of us. As you have gone through struggle, you always had a backstop. For those people that didn't have the boomer hook parents, your backstop during your adult life became that I can always at least do some gig work, some Uber driving. You didn't understand before my show that you were just liquidating your car. But nonetheless, you at least could liquidate your car to get by. Okay. But what happens when the liquidation of the cars, when the gig driving is done by the AI? I want you to read these things side by side. They're 2 different articles, and understand there will be no Uber driving. They have Waymos here. As they move along with the technology and get better at this, they won't need you to gig drive no more. Now, that's not me advocating for gig work. That's saying soon enough, they won't need your work. Have you dealt with that consequence and what that means? And that's why you need regulation. The Uber strike shows how drivers remain one of the company's biggest liabilities. This is by Vox back in 2019. As long as companies continue to reduce driver pay, it's going to face an increasingly frustrated workforce. Okay. Well, the answer to that is the Waymo and the Uber AI cars. Waymo and Uber proposed AI techniques to improve self-driving systems. That's back in 2020. I've shown you pictures of Waymos outside of my house parked. It's already here. So have you resolved what your life looks like without the backstop that if it got too hard, you could at least do some Uber driving? Okay. I want to talk. I just want to get some answers. I want to make sure that you're exposed. And it's okay if none of you guys have no answers and you haven't really resolved how you gonna pay for these kids or how these kids gonna pay for themselves as they transition into adulthood. I told you guys several years ago, the most important and most financially challenging aspect of raising a child in modern America is not the 0 to 18. It is the transitionary step to make them a fully functional adult. And what AI does is ups the ante. And I just want to know, what are you doing to prepare for that? One of the things that we should be doing is advocating for regulation, advocating for policy that pushes back against AI. Are you doing that? Not are we doing it. Are you doing that locally? Are you doing that at the state level? Are you getting with ADOS Foundation saying that you want this to be a primary issue for the ADOS Foundation? Are you talking to your children? How many of you in the chat have despondent children that don't want to be nothing in this world because AI is here? Ain't no point in going to no school. AI is here. Somebody might look at that earlier video and say, well, they just said white collar. Okay, you believe that if you want to. That you can go get a blue collar trade job instead, and that'll solve it. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? 937?
Hey, good afternoon, Tone. This is Cynthia. I'm calling from Ohio. So what I wanted to say is that when I graduated from undergrad school back in '86, there was a recession during that time, a low grade recession. And during that time, I couldn't find work. But I did happen to find work at an entry-level white-collar job through the federal government. It was a GS4, 5, 6, 7.
Can I pause you for a second? I want you to keep your thought, but understand two things that would make her job that she got impossible to get. The first is that AI is about to wipe out half of the entry-level jobs. But what's going to happen is that's going to be all of the black entry-level jobs, because we get the extra after white folks eat from the 100. I'm just telling you how it's set up. Now, in addition, she said what? Federal. So if Trump is making cuts to all the departments aren't even going to be hiring. So if she was graduating today, the job she got wouldn't even exist. Go ahead.
And you are so right. And also, too, during that period of time, we didn't have the influx of immigration. And then also, too, I was attached to a silent generation parent. So I had somewhere to live at during that time. But then also, too, I was a reservist member. So I had a lot of things going for me that Generation X and Y won't have going for them. And it's very concerning.
Can I ask you one thing? I want you, you probably were here, but those people that are just coming in, because I kind of popped up, I want you to listen to this 1 minute, and I'm going to come right to you, and I want you to know your opinion on what is said in this video.
Just like the technological revolution, the IT revolution gutted blue-collar workers throughout the 90s and beyond, you're now talking about a bloodbath for white-collar workers because of AI. And from what you've seen and what you're reporting on, it is going to be a bloodbath for workers.
I mean, that is certainly the warning of Dario Amodei, who is the CEO of Anthropic. And just for your viewers, Anthropic is one of the top creators of this AI, these large language models in the world. So he has better visibility than probably all but 2 or 3 people in the world into the power of this technology. He'd been telling us in private for a while that this bloodbath could be coming, but that lawmakers don't want to talk about it. The federal government doesn't want to talk about it. AI companies don't want to spook people. We finally convinced him to go on the record. And his point is, like, listen, just play with this technology, not just casually. Like, once you really dive into it, you realize it can do the work already of researchers, of analysts, of a whole host of entry-level white-collar jobs. And he put it in the starkest of terms. He said, like, based on their early analysis, over a 5-year period, it could wipe out half of white-collar entry-level jobs. Unemployment could spike to 10 to 20% in the next 5 years.
So I want to get your take on that, just after listening to that.
Well, you know, Tone, it's very concerning. We definitely need politics, and anybody who walks around talk about they don't need politics and they don't need government, they're pretty much mentally not functioning well as an adult in this country, and it's very concerning. And if our people if they don't wake up, it's just going to get worse. That's all.
Wait. One last, don't land your plane yet, because I got something before your plane hits the ground. I'll put something on screen that a lot of you guys might not be aware of. but are you aware that Trump is trying to pass something called the Big Beautiful Bill that's cutting food stamps, that's going to cut Section 8, and everybody's clapping. I'm not going to say everybody, but a lot of, okay, well, you clap on this, that's in that bill. Let me let you hear what this says. Trump's Big Beautiful Bill bans all 50 states from regulating AI for 10 years, centralizes control at the federal level, and integrates AI systems into federal agencies. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, it sounds to me that he wants to obliterate working individuals, working class adults. He wants to obliterate the middle income individuals in this United States, and it's very terrible. I mean, it's horrible.
Well, nonetheless, I just wanted to thank you for calling in and giving us your 2 cents at this hour. I'm gonna keep on going and get through this show. I'm not gonna keep everybody too long. I'm gonna talk about this lack of regulation because they were already predicting it, and we're here now. It's in the Big Beautiful Bill that he does not want to really regulate this AI, in my view. And I don't know if you understand, both for yourself and particularly if you have young adults, even if they're 15 years old, what you need to be doing to get out here. Sitting around ain't it. You got an obligation. You better figure this out, because it ain't no more just clapping while they go drive Uber at 12 o'clock at night while you retired. No. They're going to take that off the table too. Shouldn't have been doing it no way. Artificial intelligence is significantly impacting the job market, particularly for Generation Z, who are entering the workforce amidst this technological shift. While AI offers exciting possibilities for efficiency and innovation, it also presents challenges, especially for entry-level positions that have traditionally served as crucial stepping stones for young workers. Automation of entry-level tasks. AI is increasingly capable of automating routine tasks in various fields like coding, legal services, retail, marketing, and admin support. This means that some entry-level jobs that used to provide hands-on experience and skills development are being automated or becoming more efficient with fewer human workers. This is what we're up against. This is what we're seeing. Are you having the conversations in your community about this and the impact of this? For those people that say, well, my kid's not going to college, no way. I want to know what they're going to do. Do you have independent money? And when I say money, I'm not talking about $10,000. I'm talking about $700,000. I'm talking about $900,000. I'm talking about real liquid wealth where you're going to hand them $150,000 toward their house, where you're going to pay off their college in cash, not in pieces, where you're going to be the provider of wealth that they will not be able to get from the rest of society. Because for those of y'all, did y'all hear about Job Corps? So Job Corps was closed. Let me see if I got that. Trump administration orders shutdown of Job Corps centers, including 3 in Oklahoma. Look at these people in here doing hair or something. Since the U.S. Department of Labor issued a phased pause in operations on May 29th for Job Corps centers across the country, she is concerned that it will affect her organization. These are respectful, hardworking young adults who are actively trying to improve their lives. Jobs Corps, for those people that don't know, is a federally funded residential educational and career training program for eligible low-income young adults ages 16 to 24. So they shutting that down. But it's not just Jobs Corps. Okay. It is this idea that you're going to sidestep the impact that they're putting into colleges by being this working class $150,000 earner. Okay, let me put it in real context. These MFs told you they didn't need to go to college because you need to do trades. Then they took away Jobs Corps. That's what the man said. Devil don't stop work doing here. Do he? Then you had a white lady, Constance. Look at Constance. She jumped in and said, try community college. My husband got his associate's degree as a carpenter at our local community college. Before I read the rest of the reviews, did she know about this? Equalizing Opportunity. California group forms union to help Black carpenters, apprentices. Because a lot of y'all have this blue-collar job that you ain't got no relationships to give your kid in. You tell us about a blue-collar job they're going to get instead, but you can't tell us about the racism in the industry. Because really, you're talking about high school educated people getting into trades, elevators, carpentry, that White lower class people have dominated so that they can get paid much more higher than their education level. And your kid gonna be the one to break into it with you as a parent with no relationships. Racism exists in carpentry apprenticeship programs. Now, before I read the rest, understand what I'm saying. You can't use blue collar jobs to mask your laziness as a parent, as a support system, as a person. This alternative world where you're going to outpace racism through getting a blue collar job that is oversaturated with high school educated people that want to get paid higher wages in the range of a white collar worker while they're getting rid of those wages for white collar workers. Okay. So you're out from the gig jobs and the blue collar. Racism exists in carpentry apprenticeship programs impacting Black apprentices and potential apprentices. This includes issues with access to opportunity, completion rates, and subtle forms of discrimination on the job site. But Constance told us, try community college. My husband got his associate's degree as a carpenter. Ooh, they lit her up. Community colleges are overcrowded. There's also a teacher shortage. I can't register for the classes I need, and there are wait lists with 50 plus students. Okay. Community college, are you aware of why there are and where many trade schools are set up? This last person. Community college does not have housing, nor can you attend at 16 years of age, like job courses, what she's saying. Your husband also attended community college in 65. They don't have associates in carpentry anymore. So your info is outdated, just like you. Ooh. So I'm saying that this AI thing is more than a white collar issue. It's a we issue. Can you call her? What's your name? Where you calling from? 323.
Miss North.
Give me your take on this, because a lot of people aren't understanding this AI and there's no regulation and it's going to eat people whole. What's your thoughts?
So the thing about construction is, now I don't know if anybody remembers this, but I said probably about maybe 5 or 6 years ago, when I told people what was coming for them, because I've been seeing this type of thing with construction, because I told you I grew up in New York, and in New York, Negroes don't exist in construction. You know who exists there? West Indians. I told people that a long time ago, and so now that's in your face. Job Corps, I went to Job Corps, okay? I finished in Job Corps, then I went to college. So you guys would like just the ridiculousness of the things that people are saying. It's like they're in some sort of tomb where they're not aware of the current events that's going on around them. And so I've been talking about, as well as there's a few other things. I think I've posted something from a economist. I can't remember his name. I think he may be Muslim or something like that. And he was talking about the AI taking over, but he was doing it in, I think it was either 22 or 23.
Okay.
When I read that article, and it's like nobody wants. The problem that I'm having, and the problem that I've always had, is that the fact that people, what is the not wanting to listen?
Well, I think North. I think what we're dealing with is our generation. What happened was, and this is a generalization, but I generally feel it wasn't like boomers were better parents. It was just less exposure, and it was so much like wealth in their hands. And what happened was we were able to raise ourselves through sitcoms and the Cosby Show. We did Lawyer and Doctor. What's happening now is a combination of pressures that require you to be a much more advanced level parent. And I don't know if people who were raised by people who didn't raise you all that well in terms of intense, and I'm not saying everybody, intense, dynamic, what is the world changing into parenting, can really deal with what parenting means today. And what that means today is your kids never saw the Cosby Show. Think about what I'm saying for a second. I've had my criticism about the lack of displaying wealth appropriately with the Cosby Show, but focus in. You're dealing with a generation of children that never saw the Cosby Show. They didn't see Fresh Prince. They didn't see any imagery other than you. And then instead of you doing your job, you letting Halo raise your baby, or you got them doing Chat GPT with no guideposts, or you not talking about politics with them and the consequences of not having regulation around this AI. And so now you got a reckless child with you. And then they going to tell you, I don't want to go to school. And what you say, well, you can get a blue collar job. Well, y'all ain't never even built nothing together. Talk about it. Let me say it again. Y'all ain't never built nothing together. And you telling them they can be a carpenter. Huh. You staving off responsibility. Go ahead. Give me your last name.
Well, guess what? There will be no more. You got to get out at 18 because just so it's clear to everybody, because everybody wanted to sit around and you got to get and tell their children, tell millennials and tell Gen Z or whatever it is that you got to get out at 18. You are deeming your children to being homeless. You as an as a class of abject poverty people have made certain. Isn't that what you said, Tone? Well, here it is right in your face. So there will be no more. You got to get out at 18. Thanks, Tone. Have a great day.
Thank you. Let me say this too. A lot of y'all will make excuses for traveling, live in Los Angeles or San Diego, not realize take your baby down across the border and show them a peso and walk them around in Tijuana. That's a free trip. A lot of y'all will talk about these blue collar jobs. Go get you a Lego set. I ain't talking about nothing advanced. A Lego set. It ain't got to be but 300 pieces. Let's see if your baby got the focus to put that together with you, not by themselves, with you, instead of you watching Housewives and them playing video games. What we got to do is start looking at the pieces of what make up parenting, the pieces of what make up relationship, the pieces of what makes up ourselves. Because what's happening now is that they're going to displace us and replace us, but you replaced yourself a lifetime ago. Can we talk today? All right. I just want to talk about this AI because your backstop that y'all had where you was going to drive Uber. It ain't going to work. And don't tell me nothing about no blue-collar jobs. Survey finds Gen Z most worried about AI's workplace impact. Some recent research suggests that, generally speaking, many workers are at least a little worried about how artificial intelligence will affect their employability in the coming months and years. One 2023 survey, for example, polled 2,000 employed Americans, with more than 3/4, 77%, saying they are concerned that AI will cause job loss within the next 12 months. Among this group, 44% said they were very concerned. Another 33% indicated they were somewhat concerned. There might be a tendency to think that older generations might be slower to embrace new technology in the workplace or elsewhere for that matter. New data, however, suggests that younger employees, Gen Z workers in particular, are actually more apprehensive about how AI figures to affect their livelihood going forward. So what I'm saying to you is you're now going to be raising children that are not hopeful about tomorrow. And there's every indication of why they shouldn't be, between gambling and gig jobs and AI. But what they are going to be is despondent. How have you prepared yourself to motivate a child in depression? How have you prepared yourself to show a child politics? Now, it might not change tomorrow, but the politics is the hope that you can lead to a massive change after that. You done been out here playing house, playing aspiration. In a survey of 3,000 U.S. employees conducted by D2L, more than half, 60%, say they want to use generative AI tools more frequently at work in the year ahead, with 49% saying they're already using generative AI tools at least once a week. Still, many workers are fearful that their relative inexperience with the emerging technology could cost them their job in the not too distant future. Among this group of workers who's identifying as Generation X, those between 65 and 80 were the least worried, with just 33% of respondents age group indicating concern they were replaced by a more savvy AI employee. Now listen to this. Y'all Gen Xers that don't have no money, y'all too calm. Y'all been around boomers and think that you the boomer. Show me the bank account. Don't tell me about no home equity either. You can't be in America with a full family and you don't have 75 to 100,000 liquid. I mean, you can be here, but you're not really here. If you out here with $100 or $300, I don't want to hear no more about your house, and I don't want to hear no more about tomorrow. I'm asking you about today, because that calm is part of the reason that you don't see the storm that AI is bringing. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? 404. That's the low end, 75 to 100. Big RPG. That's the low end. I'm just being generous because black folks, they'll be out here with $200 and the whole family. Go ahead. Give me your take on it, 404.
Tony, JT, I just wanted to comment real quick and add in. I got in a little late, so sorry if you touched on it, but a lot of the white collar workers who kind of this, all of that Tazi model and kind of headed that way are also about to get hit by this. And I don't think they're seeing that the same way. And so a lot of these issues that are really being restricted to, you know, people who didn't follow the path, so to speak, are really about to hit them that way. I don't think everybody's ready for that.
Nope. And let me say this. I don't think that people realize. I told you, I did it like and it's been years. 2017, the middle black family was worth like $1,500 liquid. Like it ain't got better. So we talking about families that have little, and that's probably rolling money. Like many black families don't have any wealth. Many is an understatement. Working age, almost probably everybody you know, a lot of people. And like it's just so normal that everything gets fixed by working tomorrow. What happens when there ain't no work tomorrow and you got to eat today? I'm saying AI should be a premier issue for you, and you should be thinking about the impact this could have on labor for you before it hits you in the face. Any last thing you want to say, caller?
No, that's it, Tone. I'll hit you later.
All right. And for those people that say, how many people got 175, 220? I did the numbers. It showed you, I think it was 40% of white families. You know, we have 20 million families and they have 80 million. There's a 1-to-4 ratio, but the wealth don't split that way. They have almost all the wealth and we have a little slither. But they have like 40% of their families above like 600,000 in net worth. That's not liquid worth. And they jumped real fast. They got like 8 million families above $1 million or something. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's like 8 million. I don't have the numbers right in front of me to go into it in detail, but nonetheless, they have millions of families well above, because it's a normal number to have hundreds of thousands of dollars if you have families and you want them to be successful in America. So stuff is not expensive. You just don't have the basic wealth of being an American. And I don't know if any show has said it to you that way. And they set it up for only so many people to have that, and almost all those people that have that is white, and that's where they put the racism. And then they made you love basketball or singing, and then that's how they make you okay with it. You're gonna be a singer, or it's okay because they sing. I don't know. I don't be knowing what y'all talking about. So we having this discussion. I talked about it earlier. In the chat, how many people know about the big beautiful bill and are following some of the things that are in this bill? One of the big things is that this leads to a lack of regulation around AI for a decade. By the time they come back around to this thing, it'll be such a beast, ain't no point in regulating it. This is the moment. Trump's big beautiful bill bans all 50 states from regulating AI for 10 years, centralized control at the federal level, and integrates AI systems into key federal agencies. Authorized uses: the Secretary of Commerce used the funds appropriated under subsection A for the following to replace or modernize within the Department of Commerce legacy business systems with state-of-the-art commercial artificial intelligence systems and automated decision systems, to facilitate within the Department of Commerce the adoption of artificial intelligence models that increase operational efficiency and service delivery, to improve within the Department of Commerce this is the language in the big beautiful bill: cybersecurity posture of federal information technology systems through modernized architecture, automated threat detection, and integrated artificial intelligence solutions. In general, except as provided in paragraph 2, no state or political subdivision thereof may enforce during the 10-year period beginning on the date of the enactment of this act any law or regulation of that state or a political subdivision thereof limiting, redistricting, or otherwise regulating are artificial intelligence models, artificial intelligence systems, or automated decision systems entered into interstate commerce. This is awful. And part of this show is just to let you know that this is awful. Vote for yourself, and particularly for your children and your children's children. Welcome to feudalism, somebody said. State makers are pushing back. There's a whole article that came out. State lawmakers to Congress, don't stop us from regulating AI. As the Senate takes up President Donald Trump's massive tax and immigration bill this week, state lawmakers from both parties are calling on Congress to remove a provision that would place a 10-year moratorium on state-level AI regulations. And that's what I just read to you. I wanted you to hear it because I know a lot of you don't know. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Tom, this is John from Chicago. How are you today, buddy?
I'm all right. Did you know about this in the Big Beautiful Bill? This 10-year
Yes,
moratorium?
Yes, I did. I've been listening to you, man.
Mm-hmm. What's your take?
The things concerning these bills and everything that is happening in this American society today, but in particular to the ADOS community. I would just like to say we are still stuck in that time because there are too many people out here talking about we can pool our resources together. Don't know anything about the BLS data. Don't know any other information that's available to look to help them understand that we don't have the money or the resources to pool anything together. And they still don't understand timing. That time has passed. There are
and also they don't understand what a resource is. What we need to be doing is standing up to the regulation of AI, and there's no money that comes out of that. What comes out of that is opportunity for the future. Because if you don't stand up to this, a lot of y'all gonna lose your jobs. I mean, you heard the woman earlier that was I believe boomer age, and she said basically her first job was federal government and an entry level white collar job. How many people in the chat want their kids to actually graduate college and become white collar professionals? That people that don't work with their hands. Literally today, before I got on this call with y'all, I had a DUI hearing where I was able to work with my mind and do a hearing. How many? And you can say I don't want my kids to do that, but have you done the Lego set at least? But go ahead.
Exactly. Yeah, man. I've been a truck driver since 1986. I've owned trucks and worked for companies. This industry is dead. The money that I'm making compared to the money that I was making is penny.
And don't add in tariffs and how that's going to slow down the trucking. Go ahead.
Yeah. And we just simply are not educated enough, and nobody wants to believe it. We actually think that we could use 1940s and 50s and 60s models for Black society in today's America.
And even that black society thing, it's like, what is black? Is it the Nigerians, the Haitians, and the ADOS, and then the Nigerians and the Haitians send their money to Nigeria and Haiti, and then the people in Africa tell us they don't use black in Africa. Somebody new said it because it's the truth. So what is we? So what is we? And then ain't no money in the we, no way, because all the wealth is held by the white folks inside of the pocket called America, in the America that we built that we don't want to be called. Shout out to ADOS. We don't have black in ADOS. We have American descendants of slavery. You go ask the other groups that got black in their name what they gonna do about the fact that they just differentiated from something that ain't really exists. Come on, go ahead.
Come on, man. I mean, hey, man, and again, I was introduced to you, man, in 2016, and I've been listening. And I'm in the ADOS. I'm a member of the ADOS Advocacy Foundation. I've been to the congresses. I was at the first one in Louisville, Kentucky. And you guys are the only one that has a serious solution for ADOS in this country. But don't nobody want to be ADOS, Tom.
Don't nobody want to be. I'm getting to a point where AI might make it so, and this is the thing that I'm noticing with a lot of y'all with 20-year-olds and 23-year-olds, don't nobody want to be nothing.
Yeah.
See, I don't want you to have don't leave yet. I don't want y'all to end up with these children that don't want to be nothing in your house, and you complaining about why they don't want to be nothing, and you let AI eat all the hope and dreams out of their heart. That's this show. Your consequence might not be here today. Your kid might be 12, but it's coming if you don't do nothing today. Any last thing you want to say?
Hey, Sean, I just want to say it don't hurt bad. It don't hurt too much to be ADOS, man. Thank you for all that you do.
Thank you so much for calling in. We ain't going to keep you too long. This is a show where we talking about this moment and this regulation. Will Donald Trump let AI companies run wild? Well, we have the answer now, right here. Yes. Trump's big, beautiful bill bans all 50 states from regulating AI for 10 years, which means no regulation. So there's a letter that was sent by the states. So state lawmakers from both parties are calling Congress to remove a provision that would place a 10-year moratorium on state-level AI regulations. They're talking about this provision here that I just read, and you can go back and listen to me read it or read it yourself while it's on screen. The letter from the states provided to the tech brief ahead of its publication Tuesday bears the signatures of 260 lawmakers, half of them Republicans, almost half Democrats, and one independent. It's perhaps the most broad-based opposition yet to a Republican-led measure aimed at removing hurdles to AI innovation. In the letter, the key point: states are laboratories of democracy whose policymaking can form the foundation for better federal laws. State and local government are nimbler than Congress in addressing problems as they emerge. The sweeping moratorium would halt laws that states have already passed, some of which regulate more than just AI. The letter was organized by an ad hoc coalition of groups that include Common Sense, Mothers Against Media Addiction, and Encode. How many mothers are out there have heard about Mothers Against Media Addiction? If you are a mother, maybe you need to go look at that website. It's not just about being part of American descendants of slavery. It's about being part of several groups that give you political information. It's about getting out onto the internet and using it as more of a tool of what is going to inform and change your future than just entertainment cycle news. In an increasingly fraught, this is a part of the letter that they had, an increasingly fraught digital environment, young people are facing new threats online. Seniors are targeted by the emergence of AI-generated scams, and workers and creators face new challenges in an AI-integrated economy day, right? Over the next day, AI will raise some of the most important public policy questions of our time. And it is critical that state policymakers maintain the ability to respond. Axios CEO warns AI will reorder society. So we heard him earlier, and in that he said it's going to take away a lot of the jobs. It's not a question, and we're not talking about 20 years from now. We're talking about 1 to 5 years ago, 5 years from now, 1 to 5 years from now. I think just to be fair, for those people that came in kind of late, I'm going to play one more minute of this just so you can hear it.
And from what you've seen and what you're reporting on, it is going to be a bloodbath for workers.
I mean, that is certainly the warning of Dario Amodei, who is the CEO of Anthropic. And just for your viewers, Anthropic is one of the top creators of this AI, these large language models in the world. So he has better visibility than probably all but 2 or 3 people in the world into the power of this technology. He'd been telling us in private for a while that this bloodbath could be coming, but that lawmakers don't want to talk about it. The federal government doesn't want to talk about it. AI companies don't want to spook people. We finally convinced him to go on the record. And his point is, like, listen, just play with this technology, not just casually. Like, once you really dive into it, you realize it can do the work already of researchers, of analysts, of a whole host of entry-level white-collar jobs. And he put it in the starkest of terms. He said, like, based on their early analysis, over a 5-year period, it could wipe out half of white-collar entry-level jobs. Unemployment could spike to 10 to 20% in the next 5 years. And this is a guy who's building the technology, who's boasting about the power of it. And when we pushed him on, then if you're building it, like, how do you morally kind of think about it in your own mind? And he said, I have an obligation to build the technology. I also have an obligation to get the federal government, to get lawmakers, to get other AI companies to figure out how do we prepare the American worker and how do we protect the American worker.
Well, if Trump, hold on, let me get this right. Well, if Trump is able to get a 10-year ban, there's not at the state level, it's going to be hard. What y'all don't understand is that this moment is critical for you to be aware of the impact, for you to be talking to your children, for you to be going through the discussion of what AI means, for you to understand artificial intelligence, for you to use it and see how it changes life, for you to understand more than what your parents taught you, for you to be the more dynamic parent than you have been at any point in your life, a more dynamic person. I just wanted to come and ask the question because, Will Trump let AI take all the jobs? We don't know yet, but it's looking real bad. This is Tone Talks. Please go to tonetalks.net, subscribe, donate, and share. Thank you so much for tuning in.